Right, so moving along, Surah 23, Surah al-Muminun, right? Surah 23, right? Verse 1, certainly the believers will have succeeded. Verse 2, those who are during their prayer humbly intent, and those who turn away from ill speech, right? What is ill speech? Ill speech is not things like cursing and things. In fact, that's a bare minimum, right? Things like cursing and carrying on because sometimes you have to curse at people, right? I mean, use foul language at people. I don't mean things like that, right? And I am true to myself, right? When I say stay away from ill speech, I mean things like what? Backbiting, a bad talking a person, right? Without coming and communicating with that person directly, and finding out, well, what's the root of the problem? What's this, and coming to understanding you're bad talking or you backbiting, right? You are bad talking and you are backbiting people, right? Gossiping about people, all these things without a cause, right? Without an actual real life cause, right? You are just doing this, right? To recreate scenarios, right? You don't even have a reason for doing this, but you just want to recreate dramas or recreate scenarios, right? So this is what we are trying to avoiding backbiting people without knowing the actual, the entirety of a situation, avoiding backbiting people, avoiding gossiping about people without knowing the entirety of a situation, and trying to come to people directly and say, hey, was a problem, right? Good, right? So you prefer to talk yap in somebody's head, right? Especially those who are using this technology and technological harassment and these things, right? Another thing, staying away from ill speech, referring to people as it or dogs and these kind of things, right? And there's something I wanted to address for the longest while. Referring to people as animals, as its, right? As animals or its, dogs, mules, donkeys, right? These are things that you need to avoid and you have to avoid if you are to survive this, right? If you are to survive this, right, final hour, avoid referring to people as it, animal, dog, donkey, mule, right? Good. So be observant of zakah, which is charity, meaning giving. And like I said, charity is not about handouts, but it's about actually ensuring that people have the systems to self-sustain, right? Zakah is not about giving handouts, right? Giving handouts, a hamper, a box of food, nothing. Right? It is about ensuring that people have systems to sustain themselves. Yeah, the hampers are necessary, the handouts are necessary for a period of time to help people through a transition phase. But until people have a system set up for what? For self-sustenance, self-sufficiency, right? Guarding your private parts, right? This don't mean that you have to be celibate or go into celibacy for the rest of your life. Definitely not. You don't have to go into celibacy for the rest of your life, right? It doesn't mean that, right? It means that, and for a lot of us who have experienced this, right, or was forced into it, or whatever the condition was, right? If you were past who you had high sexual energy and you shared the sexual energy with various partners or something, right? And after a while you realize, hey, what was going on was wrong, or you were wrong in that process, or what was happening to you was wrong, right? You guard your private parts, meaning that protect yourself, protect your energy for a period of time until you realize, it's safe to do this, and whoever person is that is to come into your life is safe to share your energy with, right? Except, right, so guard your private parts, except for if you have a wife or a husband who you share that closeness in exclusivity with, right? So be attentive to your trust and your promises, right? Be attentive to your trusts and your promises, right? So Allah is saying that He made the sperm drop into a clinging clot, and the clot into a lump of flesh, and He made from the lump bones, and then lumps and bones, and covered the bones with flesh, right? And developed you into another creation, right? So from nothingness, right? Or from nothingness, right? You actually became into something, right? From nothingness you came into something, right? And that nothingness started with what? It's not really nothingness, actually it's ether, right? It's space, right? It's space, and then the elements, and then you were formed, right? So eminent among those who disbelieve, right, is those who say, This is a man. So if you see somebody sharing a message, right, eminent among those who disbelieve, right, from his people, said this is not a man but yourself who wishes to take precedence over you, right? So if people see me sharing a message here, and somebody be like, oh, she looking to take over his thing, or she looking to take over somebody else's hat, right? That's the term that they use now, right? She's stealing this person's hat, or look how she taking this person's hat, right? She taking this person's hat, right? Oh, and thinking that you're in competition with somebody. I'm not in competition with anybody on the planet, right? Everybody are free sovereign agents, right? I'm not in control of anybody. I am not a manager of anybody. Everybody is sovereign human beings, right? So that's a new term that they're using now. They're trying to say that you taking somebody else's hat, right? You thief in somebody else's hat. That's the terminology that they're using now, right? So they would say that you want to take precedence over somebody, you want to control somebody, right? Those are among people who disbelieve, right? Disbelievers, right? Good. No nation will precede its time of termination, nor will they remain thereafter. So, right, that's what I'm saying. If it's time for a nation to go, right, the nation will go. Or civilization to fall, it would fall. Right. So indeed, this is your religion, is one religion. They're referring to Islam, right? It is referring to Islam, right? And it's saying that people divide their religion amongst them into sects or sects or portions, right? And they celebrate, right? People divide their already small existing ways of life into even smaller fragments, right? Because of divisions and just human inability, right, to relate to each other. You divide your sect, your already small existing sect, into a million different fragments because of what? Politics within the group, right? Politics within the group divide your already small and dwindling religious population into even smaller sects, right? Good. We'll continue with that, right? And you celebrate that. Oh, this is mine, right? This is mine. This movement or this movement is mine, right? That's why Islam is saying that, hey, your religion is made into one religion. It's not to convert the world, but it's to help the world understand a particular point, right? Which is Allah has not taken any son, nor has there been with him any deity, right? Because why? And the book is given a clear reference here. If there had been, each deity would have what? Want to overcome others, meaning want to be in competition with others, and that's not the point, right? Nobody is trying to be in competition with another person, right? And that's where people have so much misinterpretations, right? No deity, nobody is trying to be in competition. People can't coexist without being in competition with each other, right? So, and that's the whole point about Islam being that it's not about converting the entire world, but to bring the world to our understanding that, hey, these belief systems are actually, these fragmented religious belief systems is actually the cause of the wars, right, that's taking place in the world, right? So Allah charges no soul except within that which is within its capacity, right? So reflect over the word, which is the Quran, right? And instead of just accepting what your forefathers would have passed on to you, right? That is inviting people to a straight path. Right, so there's Allah who produced for you hearing and vision and intellect and hearts, and he's saying that little are you grateful, right? People are ungrateful or not reflective or not thoughtful about these little basic things that we often take for granted, right? He gives life and causes death and alternates night and day, so you are asked to reason, right? Right, so it's saying that those scales that are heavy with good deeds, it is they who are successful. So those who think that you are created uselessly, or you are without a purpose, you are never without a purpose. Once you have a Quran, or once you have access to the Quran, right, you are never without a purpose, right? Once you have access to a Quran, right? And I'm saying this from experience too, if you feeling like you are purposeless in the world, or you do not have a purpose in the world, right? If you are sinking into depression, or you feeling like you do not have a purpose in the world, right? You are, once you have access to this book, you are never without a purpose, right? There's always some message in here for you and some message for you to share, right? So exalted is Allah, the sovereign and the truth, right? The sovereignty meaning free, right? Exalted is Allah, right? If you want to say the owner of freedom, although I don't like using the word owner in the context of freedom, but we're not talking about any mankind here, right? Owner of freedom meaning that the manager of the entire universe, right? The manager of the entire universe, right? The owner of sovereignty meaning the manager of the entire universe, right? That's what this means, right? So there's no deity except him, right? And God is the one who forgives and has mercy, right? So you are to go directly to God, right? If you can't come to a person and directly say, hey, I did so and so wrong, right? Which, by the way, this is what God is asking you to do, right? But if you can't, for whatever reason, do that kind of thing, right? You go directly to God and seek the forgiveness of God, Allah, right? Because Allah is the most merciful.